Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. The Abhyss archetype, it was revealed a couple of days ago and I was wrong when I first saw the cards. I was like, this doesn't really seem too great. I mean the archetype is kinda, I feel like it feels like a bit like a combination between, let's say, generators and well, like, you know, rank 4, rank 8 spam dot deck, looking at generators for example, or reptiles in some way also, but my first initial thoughts were like, it doesn't really seem that great. I thought maybe like a Chaos Hybrid featuring like a small Thunder Dragon package, but okay, that's cool, but most of the time you're just, you're probably just better off playing pure Thunder, whatever. So there I was like, well, no, let's like completely change the build and to go for a LAIR of Darkness approach. A couple of reasons. Diablos is fantastic in the deck. The archetype is focused on darks, on lights, right? And filling the graveyard, filling up the graveyard with their effects. There is Snake Rain, finally that card is being played. Or, you know, like it's an option to be played. It's basically like a future fusion painful choice for the deck at the small cost of discarding a card. But again, best way is discarding, let's say, Diablos, for example, from your hand to the graveyard to immediately Foolish Burial, like 4 reptiles from your deck to the graveyard. And the archetype on its own basically has like 2 very strong starters. Well, strong, not as in, you know, one card, Helki Fibrex, Link combo, 5 negates, no. A couple of options. First of all, there's Snake Rain, as you saw, filling up the graveyard, and the gimmick of the archetype is that when they're like in the graveyard, for example, they all have like a special summon capability. No, not all, but the most important ones, the first one, I believe it's at 3 in the deck, it's the level 4 that has the capability to like Foolish Burial something from your deck to the graveyard, plus reborn itself from the graveyard. So it's basically a free level 4, and you know, that's this one that gets your plays go through, because the higher level ones, the level 8 one, the level 10 one, all have the capability to special summon themselves from the graveyard, but you need to tribute monsters on your side of the field, so to kinda get themselves on the field. So that's where the LAIR of Darkness approach from the deck comes into play, because, you know, you can't like tribute one monster from your opponent during the process. And by doing that, you'll, looking at the level 8s, they'll gain their beneficial effects. Most of the time, the first one you'll be going for is this one, because the light one, it reborns something from the graveyard, so basically a Debris Dragon. Reborning, let's say, the dark one. The dark is like the Stratos for the deck. It's basically there's not Monster Searcher, but there's Spell and Trap Card Searcher. Only problem though is that for the moment, with this first wave of support of the Abhyss spells and traps, they aren't that great. The better one, I guess, is their Continuous Trap that has the capability to reborn an opponent's monster. So it's like a Call of the Haunted for an opponent's monster. That's cool. And as you saw, I'm also running their Field Spell, but the Field Spell is terrible. It literally does nothing. It's not that great. The only reason why I'm running it is because it's a field spell, it's searchable, and because of the, what is it called, Golganda? The level 8. That's also a reptile that's also being able to send to the graveyard, you know, like discard something, whatever, Foolish Burial something. It's basically a free level 8 every turn, but you need a field spell, and, you know, searchable, yada yada, you know what I mean. Next to this, there is also like the small combo, I guess, with Snake Rain, basically like a 1.5 card combo of sending the 2 level 4s, 2 level 8s, always the same as you saw. First of all, the Reborner, this one, and then follow it up with the other level 8 that needs also 1 tribute to get on the field. Put 2 banished monsters from your banished pile back to the graveyard, and that's an easy rank 8 Exceed play, for example. So that's cool. There, you know, there are your stronger plays, right? The other starting play, and you know, the views will be switched in the next couple of moments. The other starting play is just obviously no Snake Rain, because again it's not searchable. There is disparity to dig for it, but it's just the other level 4. I'm looking at, of course, like the archetype itself, right? I'm not counting in the potential other starting cards like Lilith, for example. But yeah, this is the one, right? So send it to the graveyard, send like a dark from your deck to the graveyard, which I believe I'm only running like 1 or 2 targets in the deck, but that's more than enough. So a free reborn, right? But keep in mind that you're only being able to special summon reptiles if it stays up. So just tribute it away, it will banish itself. Reborn the Dark, thanks to the level 8, tribute it, so it will get banished, keep in mind, for the other one, the other level 8, but... And that's the thing is that why they are somewhat similar to generators is that they also give your opponent some beneficial effects, like they let your opponent special summon a monster from the graveyard, for example, or let your opponent get back a monster from their graveyard back to the hand. So that's a problem. Keep in mind, of course, if your opponent has like an empty graveyard, they will obviously won't get the beneficial effects. Very similar to Gilasaurus, right? Old school card for like rank 3 or whatever. But keep in mind is that there is also another Abhyss monster, I believe its name is like Aaron. It's also a level 8, it needs 2 tributes. Aaron is very similar to Dark Law, like when your opponent wants to add something from their deck, let's say to the hand, your opponent is forced to discard the card. So you obviously want that on your side of the field and, let your opponent like attach something, or at least get something back, discard something with all of those effects, and then let Aaron trigger to discard another card from your opponent. So again, that's a cool strategy. Very similar to generators with their rank 9 Exceed boss, but it definitely has its flaws. Dugaris is an important card in the extra deck, rank 4, right? Very easy, generic, and it's kind of needed because it can kind of cheat out your higher level monsters. So it's very similar to Infernoids, as what I was about to mention or say back in the beginning of the video, generators, Infernoids, because you can kind of cheat out, for example, let's say the level 10. The level 10 is something I haven't spoken about yet, is that the downside of that one is that it needs 3 tributes. That's a lot, so there is stuff like Dugaris to cheat it out on the field, and I believe it like destroys every once per turn, right? It's also a quick effect like a Dark Hole, unless of course the monster is special summoned from the graveyard, so that's cool. You can go first, you can go second, both work fine, and that's where the Lair of Darkness package comes into play. Let's say if your opponent does have an established board, there is Lair of Darkness that can, lets you like tribute an opponent's monster away and potentially a big floodgate, right? So that definitely works out. I was thinking of maybe adding a third Diablos because the archetype on its own is still quite weak-ish, and Diablos just increases the chances of you winning exponentially. Okay, there's Melody, but I mean Melody is still weak to Blossom, for example. So there's that. The one of Levianeer is cool, searchable or target for Melody, Scoop phase, that's how it goes. The deck is also, and that's something I'm not sure I haven't mentioned, is that it feels like Draclubion Turbo, maybe a bit. It's just a free rank 8, right? It cheats out Titanic Galaxy or the number 100 for the potential OTK. Disparity is also in the main deck to kind of dig for stuff like Snake Rain or maybe another combo piece. The field spell maybe, Lair of Darkness. And this is, like the standard quote-unquote like one and a half card combo with, Snake Rain. Cheat, or not cheat, but kind of get out both level 8s. Draclubion as well, if you have the Diablos, get it out as well, force your opponent to send back 1 card from their hand to the graveyard. And that's the thing about this deck, is that this deck definitely has the capabilities to play during your opponent's turn. There are like variations of the deck that you're playing, like Call of the Haunted or more Reborners, right? But thanks to Lilith, I don't feel I need to play more. You're just making your deck more slow and weaker, I guess. But that's maybe a bit personal preference. But Lilith is fantastic. Again, lets you play during your opponent's turn, lets you trigger Diablos during their turn, it gives your virus searches. That's something, an approach that I might do as well, is adding in more virus cards, Eradicator maybe as well, next to the other one, Full Force Virus, I believe the name is. So yeah, I mean, you have a lot of stuff to work with. So yeah, going for double rank 8s, at least double level 8s, send back 2 cards, to banished monsters back to my graveyard, basically both level 4s. Draclubion hits the board, Lilith as well, not sure if it's that important. Well, it lets me play, I guess, during my opponent's turn. I can't go for game, but the thing is that is their in-themed trap card has the capability to reborn a card from your opponent's graveyard. So it's kind of similar to DD Crow, Call by the Grave-ish. Most importantly, it will just interrupt your opponent. It's not the best, because during the end phase the monster will be sent back to your opponent's graveyard, but it's there to interrupt your opponent, right, during their turn. So it's something, but again, not the best. The King of the Feral Imps is needed because, again, if you have one of the level 4s on the field, the free Reborner, right, you're forced or locked into being only like summon reptiles, so that's why King of the Feral Imps is there. Get rid of it, and at the same time, right, not let it banish. So again, yeah, indeed, just a deck for a game. So the archetype definitely has potential. I'm not sure if it's with LAIR of Darkness, maybe like a Chaos version of the deck, but I like this particular way of you know, playing. Maybe adding more viruses and go full ham on, like, maybe, you know, like viruses, because of all of their big boss monsters, Lubion, Titanic Galaxy, Liliths, to get the things going. And Snake Rain is still a very strong card, and the deck definitely, for now, with the first wave of support, has somewhat decent first turn 1 card, 1.5 card plays to get up a decent board. Of course, it's not Dragon Link, it's not Infernal One Knights with Link Cross shenanigans adding on 4, 5, 6 negates. No, that's not the case. But the fact that the Virus hybrid, LAIR of Darkness hybrid has potential, I'm excited for this package. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.